Oh, yeah, the Phillies are on a tear, baby. 4 games in a row, or an Altherr if you want to get funny with it. Tony Del Grosso's here, Kyle Gaffner as well. I'm Adrian Fedque. We're talking Phillies today. We're going to talk a little bit extensively about Aaron Altherr. We'll get into him right now. You know, getting the opportunity to play a little bit since Howie Kendrick got hurt. He's on the DL. So Altherr has been killing the ball. What do you guys think of his game so far? His play?
Love his play. Been loving it. We had talked about this before. I know me and Tony had touched on it too, but the guy should be out there every day. It's a young team. You don't really want to have veterans out there. He potentially is a 5-tool player. I mean, he's got a great arm. He's got a good bat. And even brings a little bit of speed to the team too. But I love having him out there. It was a blessing in disguise to have Howie Kendrick go down, and even Michael Saunders too.
I completely echo everything you just said. What's not to like about Aaron Altherr? He's the best outfielder we have in the system. He's a little bit of everything. Like you said, 5-tool player. He should have been out there since day one. I feel like all three of us are kind of playing the I told you so role right now. But realistically, half of the Delaware Valley has been saying the same thing, that this guy needs to play. He had a raw deal last year with the injury, and then when they rushed him back and he wasn't the same. And you saw at the end of 2015, it would have been what he could do a little bit. He played really well, and now he's starting to look like that player again. I'm very excited about Altherr. I feel like I may be in the minority when I say this, but I really think he has maybe the most potential of anybody in the whole system. I know that's crazy to say, but he's still only, 25? It's not like he's 30. I know he's older than you'd like him to be, but name another guy in the system that's a legit 5-tool player.
It'd be hard to say. He's really not.
You can't even really call Moniak a 5-tool guy yet, because I don't think the power projection is there for him yet. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other good players in the system. Really do it all if it clicks. And again, it hasn't quite clicked yet, but if it does, I think there's a future all-star there, frankly.
Yeah, he's been working with Matt Stairs, working on his swing. He's lowered his hands. It's getting him quicker to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that shorter path, the hope is to get him for some more power. And so far, according to Fangraphs, he's hitting the ball hard 37.5% of the time. That's up from 29.5% last year. Now, obviously, it's small sample size, but as you can see, whenever you see him swing, I mean, he's killing the ball. Syndergaard, I remember when the first at bat he had against Syndergaard was like mowing all of us down, and then Altherr steps up there and just base hit to left field, just easy. So he's killing the ball. He's looking great. I don't know why Michael Saunders and Howie Kendrick were starting from the beginning, but it's obvious that Altherr should have been starting since opening day.
Yeah, I mean, they were there to be traded. Kendrick looked good until he got down. Saunders really hasn't shown anything much yet. But yeah, man, I mean, Altherr, to be super simple with it, he's a really big, strong kid with a really short swing. And that's a good combination. I know I sent you the side-by-side of him and Jason Worth back when Jason Worth. People forget how good Jason Worth used to be for a long time. He was a really good player. Their swings are almost identical, and I think that's a really good sign. He's walking more. You could tell he's seen pitches better than he ever used to, and he's comfortable and he's having fun.
And I think Matt Stairs, becoming the hitting coach has really helped the team as a whole too, on top of Altherr, because I remember when he was down in Reading, he had a really long swing. He had a lot of pop, but it was a really long swing. But he has shortened his swing. He's moved his hands up even, and he's really in the zone. And it's finally great to see. And he did get a raw deal after he got hurt, because they did rush him back. It was a shame he got hurt in spring training. He dove for that ball. He broke his wrist, or did something to his wrist, and that was it. They rushed him back, and he looked terrible. If you remember, he really was never a top prospect with our team either.
No, he wasn't. I think he was a later round pick, and it really wasn't until he got up to AAA where he started to kind of turn heads. He kind of slowly progressed through the system, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, whoa, look at this guy. There's nothing not to like about Aaron Altherr.
Yeah, and we talked about it already. The plan was to have him be an everyday player last year. Obviously injured his wrist, returned from the wrist surgery in July, struggled, hit just 197. But this year, I mean, he killed it in the spring. The other thing that Matt Stairs has done, he's minimized the leg kick in his stance. So he hit 303, 5 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 986 OPS in the spring. That's ridiculous. And obviously he's carried that now into the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So the question now is, Howie Kendrick, Michael Saunders, they're back. What are you going to do with Altherr? Yeah, really going to put him back on the bench?
I think it depends on how well he plays while they're out. If he goes through a little bit of a slump, then I think they'll pull the reins back on him and add him to the bench again. But if he continues his hot streak, you can't take him out. There's no way.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, just because of kind of how baseball works, and in some ways McCannon is old school, I think he's going to fall into a bit of a platoon. I think best case scenario is he plays about 5 days a week. He'll get the lefty starts for Saunders and right, and he'll give Kendrick a breather every couple days. Again, personally, I don't think that's enough. I want him in the lineup every single day, but it's better than what it was on opening day, put it that way. But again, to me, I want to get rid of Saunders and Kendrick as soon as possible. I mean, yeah, it's nice that Kendrick was hitting the ball, but realistically, even if he keeps hitting 400, which he won't, you're not going to get much back for him. The league knows what he is. It's, who cares if he has a couple months where he's high? It's not like you're going to get a top prospect back for him, or anything remotely like that. So
yeah,
either he's taking away at bats from. And another thing about Altherr is why you need to see him is because there's so many other outfielders that are knocking on the door, that at least you think are going to be up in the next few months. So he really needs his shot.
Yeah, he needs to play. I mean, what are you really going to get back for Howie Kendrick or Michael Saunders if you play these guys every day? Like, for real. Sure, Kendrick's hitting the ball really well right now. That slash line, 333, 395, 487 is pretty good, but I'm not playing him. I don't want to play him. I want Altherr out there. It's simple as that. So, all right, moving on. Go ahead.
No, just one more. Not to mention, he's clearly by far and away the better outfielder. Actually, the best outfielder they have.
He's an actual outfielder. Howie Kendrick is a converted second baseman. He's not an outfielder.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Cesar Hernandez now, because obviously he's on roids. 4 homers already. We talked about this before the show. You got Scott Kingery at second base, but is Cesar the second baseman of the future?
If he keeps playing the way he has been, I think you have to really put it in perspective. And why should we rush up, Scott Kingery when we have a legitimate guy right there at second base already? I mean, the guy has improved every single year he's been up in the majors. He's, great defense, but his bat, that was always the knock on Cesar. Even coming up through the system, he just really didn't have a bat. He was good defensively. Same with Freddie Galvis. But the guy's improved. He's got pop at the top of the lineup, kind of like Shane Victorino used to have.
Yeah.
And for a smaller guy, you're kind of surprised to see that. But I don't know if he's shortened his swing up, if he is maybe taking roids. Who knows? Maybe a little shot of that Canadian whiskey that Matt Stairs is maybe giving this guy. But, I mean, it's great to have. He's always can get on base, and that's better for your cleanup hitter and even the guys lower in the lineup because he's on base. You want to move guys over. And it's been just a joy to see because we haven't had a top of the guy at the lineup since Victorino and Jimmy. It's been a long time.
That's a good point. You keep mentioning Stairs, and generally speaking, I don't believe that hitting coaches have much an effect on major league hitters. However, in this case, I think he clearly hasn't had an effect, and maybe more so an effect on Hernandez than anyone else. I think for a lot of years, Hernandez was one of those guys who, we all know those guys growing up, was told to hit the ball on the ground, use your speed. Hit the ball on the ground, use your speed. That's fucking wrong. You don't do that. There's not a single guy in the major leagues that is paid to hit the ball on the ground outside of maybe Ben Revere. But I think Stairs now, you just look at the stats, look at the numbers. He's hitting the ball in the air more, and it's translating into success. Last year, he showed he could get on base. He's doing that again. I feel like his defense is even improving. He's nothing better than average defensively, but you can get by with him. And I mean, if Kingery doesn't pan out or Hernandez keeps improving or whatever, I think got a nice little thing going there at second base. Because Hernandez is still only, what, 27, 28?
Yeah, he's younger. I think he might even be 26. He's not that old.
Yeah. So I
Hit the
definitely,
ball on the ground.
yeah. I was always one of those guys. Hit the ball on the ground, use your speed.
Hit the ball on the ground. I mean, that was perfect for the 80s when you had all the AstroTurf and you could just Baltimore chop that shit.
Yeah.
And you got, by the time it reaches the second baseman, you're already at first base.
And you didn't have the shifts like you do now. You have shifts.
Yeah, well, that's another huge point. Now with the shifts, I mean, you hit the ball on the ground, it's an out.
Yeah.
I mean, they shift pretty much everyone to a certain degree anymore. So
Absolutely. And then that just goes to show you the work that they're putting in. And even with the hitting coach that Matt Stairs is, I mean, it's just such a joy to see these guys finally hitting, because it's been years coming since we haven't hit like the ball, like 2008, 2009, 2010. We were just a team that went from scoring a lot of runs to barely getting one or two across the plate. And it's a joy to see now.
All right, this is where I'm going to have Tony have the spotlight. He wants to talk about a Bryce Harper poll, an insane poll, just ridiculous. So go ahead, Tony, talk about it.
Well, I was some point last week. It was CSN Philly did a poll, and it was a simple question. It was, would you like the Phillies to sign Bryce Harper? And as we've mentioned, after this upcoming offseason, the 2018 offseason, he's going to be a free agent along with Machado and a bunch of other guys. To me, it's absolutely mind-blowing that was even a question, and the results are even more mind-blowing. I don't know, Kyle, did you see it?
I did not see it, no.
You want to take a wild guess what the results were?
That a lot of people didn't want him, I'm guessing.
More than a lot, actually. The majority.
Don't want him.
53% of fucking people, I'm sorry for my language,
It's okay. We're unrated.
said no, that they wouldn't want Bryce Harper in a Phillies uniform. That's like saying you wouldn't want Larry Bird because you're a Magic Johnson fan. Like, you know how many people? Because so many people were like, "Well, no, I would want Trout instead." Well, that wasn't the fucking question.
It's like turning down a blowjob from Lisa Ann. For real.
I mean, I don't know. By my account, he's the second best player in the game. He's what, fucking 23 years old still, even though he's been in the league 5 years.
Not even in his prime.
Yeah, you're right. He's not even in his prime. And if there's one player who has the ability to surpass Trout as the best player in the game, it's Harper. Guy. I mean, Harper is a once in a generation type talent. He is going to put up numbers that are going to be Barry Bonds-esque. Barry Bonds from 2001 to 2004, when Barry Bonds was getting on base 60% of the time and putting up video game numbers. He's going to put up those kind of numbers one day. And if you don't want him in Philly just because he's kind of a punk, I think you're fucking crazy. And frankly, Philly would love him.
Oh, they would.
Yeah.
I mean, is he kind of a punk? Is he kind of a douche? Yeah, but he plays hard, and like, I don't know. I don't know what.
Eddie Dykstra was a dick.
Yeah, he was. And I think people would change their tune if he did come here and put up the numbers. And I just feel like it is because he's a bit of a diva that people don't want to touch him. But, like, who cares? Look what he produces. And you know that's all Philly fans care about. If you go out there, play your hardest, and produce, it doesn't matter. I mean, you had T.O. here, for God's sake. Talk about a diva. And look how many people loved him.
Yeah.
Harper doing fucking.
Yeah, they were having a discussion about is he a Philly guy or not? And a lot of people were saying no, he's not a Philly guy. And I'm thinking he absolutely is a Philly guy because he plays his ass off and he doesn't take shit from other people. That's a Philly guy.
Yeah. There's no question I would want him in Philly. If we had the chance, I don't know if the Nationals let him walk. I don't know if they're going to pay him that type of money or even if they can. But if we have a chance to land him, absolutely go after him.
Yeah. I don't think he's going back with Washington. I think he's going to end up either in Philly or New York.
Yeah, New York could fit. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston could pay him too. I mean, just to get him.
I mean, everybody's going to give him an offer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last bit of news before we get out. Aaron Nola lands on the 10-day disabled list, lower back strain. Well, at least it's not his elbow, so that's that.
It's a positive thing. I mean, at least it isn't the elbow, and that's what we were worried about because he had problems last season. He didn't get the surgery, so it's not on that affected elbow. But I don't think you got to look at this at the glass half empty, more look at it like that glass half full, because we get to see another young prospect even come up and make it up to the majors. We got Eflin up here. We got Ben Lively. Is it time for maybe Jake Thompson move up here? Because Eflin's looked great. I haven't seen Ben Lively pitch. I don't know if he has pitched yet. But I'd be excited to get another young arm up here.
No, I agree, Kyle, for the most part. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, but to me, it's not something you brush off either, just because his injury history isn't what you'd like it to be for such a young guy. And when he was drafted, you did have a lot of people predicting, oh, that elbow isn't going to last. He's going to need Tommy John. So, you know, and also, as we all know, other injuries lead to other injuries. So if he's favoring his back for whatever reason, then who knows what else could happen. Hopefully it's nothing. He'll be back in a couple weeks and pitch great the rest of the year.
Could this be precaution, though? I think it's going to be precaution by Klentak.
Very, yeah. Hopefully, and yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. All right. I'll just really quickly do this. We're gonna delve into Jeremy Hellicksen a little bit more next week. We're gonna do a show on whether or not the Phillies should extend him, because there's some people out there that are writing some columns that they should. So we'll delve into that question, whether or not we would extend him. We're not going to give anything away right now, but Hellicksen is killing it right now. 3-0, 1.88 ERA, 0.71 WHIP. Leads all MLB starters. So what are your thoughts on Hellicksen so far? And we'll just end it on that. We'll just go a quick go-around, and that's it.
He's been a nice surprise. He had a really strong season last year. Came off strong. I was wondering how he was going to really look, because he looked pretty bad in spring training this year when I was down there. He pitched terrible. He was getting really lit up. So I was like, is the age really starting to affect him, because he's not as young anymore? But he's been one of our best pitchers, so it's been a pleasant surprise, because when it comes trading time, this is going to be good for us if he's pitching the way he is.
Yeah, of all the guys on the roster right now that are on the roster to be traded, and we just talked about some of them, Saunders, Kendrick, some of the, Nishak, Benoit, those guys are on the roster to be traded. Hellicksen kind of is too, and I think he easily would get the most in return right now. The league knows what he is. He's not what is his ERA right now? 1.8 something.
1.88.
I mean, that's certainly going to go up. But for a contending team that needs an extra arm, that knows he's going to give you a solid 6 innings, and he could be your 4th or 5th starter, heck yeah. I mean, just about any team could use a Jeremy Hellicksen, frankly. The fact that he's our ace says a lot. But it is what it is. I certainly don't think it'd be smart to extend him, because to me that almost be setting like a low bar that, and you're in some way saying he's your best pitcher, or he's at least your ace for the next year or so. And he's just simply not that. The guy's a solid pitcher.
All right, that's enough. That's enough Hellicksen talk. I probably shouldn't have delved into him, because you already answered the question. We got final thoughts before we head out? Anything else?
What's that?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's just great to see a 4-game winning streak out of this team. The pop is coming back. Like I said, we're one of the top leaders in home runs, so we're getting back to that exciting way of baseball where we score a lot of runs, where the past couple of years it hasn't been. We've been barely getting runs across. So you can finally see the mold coming to fruition, that we are on a winning streak, or we're going towards a winning culture again in Philadelphia for our baseball team. And it's finally glad to see a mold starting to happen.
My final thoughts would be, let's start the Rhys Hoskins watch. I don't know. It's probably not going to be anytime soon. I think it's probably still a couple months away. But I think Rhys Hoskins is going to be up, and he's going to start smashing the ball.
The Bash Brothers have been killing it down in AAA, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, my final thought, I can't wait till Thursday for so many different reasons. Can't wait to be at the draft, but I'm also sick of doing these film studies. I mean, oh my God, I'm starting to get exhausted from all the tape watching. But Yeah, keep looking out on Philly Influencer. All my film studies. I got the favorite white boy in Philadelphia right now. I did a film study on Christian McCaffrey. I did one on Dalvin Cook yesterday. I did one on Joe Mixon today. So make sure you check all those out. I'm going to be doing a bunch of quarterbacks tomorrow. So, yeah, check out PhillyInfluencer.com. For Tony Del Grosso, Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian Fetchu. We're out. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Later, guys.